Now, what's the most common cause of injury for people working in offices?
Slips, trips and falls. And the reason's usually
bad housekeeping. So, tidy up as you go. Take floors, for example. If something's been spilled, clean it up immediately. Actually, just cleaning the floor can create a slipping hazard, so be sure to alert other people to the danger by marking the area with signs. And while we're on the subject of floors, torn or lifted floor coverings are the cause of many a trip. If you spot them, get something done about them.
keep pedestrian routes clear of anything people could trip on or bark their shins against. If you can't move them, mark them with signs or barriers.
Same with holes or openings. Don't risk someone falling into an opening you've created. If you can't cover it, mark it with signs or barriers. Position electrical equipment so you don't need to trail cables where people can trip over them. If you can't avoid trailing cables, make sure they're covered and clearly marked. And, like any good housekeeper, tidy up as you go. Remove rubbish and dispose of it safely. And as soon as the job's finished, coil the cables and put them away.
Of course, when working at height on towers or platforms, a fall can have even more serious consequences than tripping or slipping at ground level.
Normally, when this sort of work goes on, there'll be very particular rules, so you should check them out before going aloft.
So that's it on checking out the workplace. Lucy, run them through the list.
So, you should start your ongoing risk assessment by checking out the emergency arrangements. Pay attention to the different types of signs and notices around the place and don't ignore any of them. They're there to help you avoid accidents and injury. Be aware of falling and moving hazards. Avoid them by sticking to walkways and keeping your eyes and ears open. And if you're operating trucks or cranes, think about the safety of others close by. Minimise the danger of slips, trips and falls with good housekeeping. Check out if safe systems of work apply to where you're working and be sure to use them.
And if you see something wrong, do something about it. Don't trip over something at work and leave it for one of your colleagues to do exactly the same. Get it fixed or report it.
You might be thinking, all that checking and we haven't even started the job yet, but you'd be wrong, because
safety checks are part of a job, they're not an extra.
Now, checking out the job you've got to do and the things you use to do it.
In the job you normally do, what are the hazards and risks? Think about it carefully, because if you don't, you could be in trouble.